Right, what's going on, guys? Welcome to We Got a Problem. So we have an important story to highlight here, since the BBC have not mentioned it and ITV have only briefly mentioned it. I will say that a few newspapers have actually covered the story, so we will take a look at them also. Now, earlier today at the Tory leadership candidate Esther Mcvey's press conference, a man walked on stage who was named by the Express as Graham Moore. A lot of people know him as Daddy Dragon on YouTube. He attended the conference and attempted to address the audience and assembled media before being surrounded by what has to be the most ineffective security I have ever seen. It consisted of a couple of soy boys that looked completely out of their depth when they attempted to get him off the stage, and only got anywhere because he left willingly. One of these so-called security guards, I have to say, is suffering from a clear case of small man syndrome. You will see in a moment him shouting and screaming like a rabid leftist commie. He would make the Labour Party proud.
Xenophobia! Xenophobia!
Now, the snivelling little shitweasel was screaming at the Brexiteer like he had just run off with his wife, after accusing the man of being a xenophobe. I really do think this guy might be in the wrong party. I always thought the Conservative parties were right-wing. I guess political correctness has made both the Labour and Tories into deranged, screaming lunatics, though. Now, I guess they are screaming because they don't want anyone to hear what he's talking about, which is the ongoing High Court case that has been brought forward by a solicitor stating that we have already legally left the EU. Now, of course, as I said, some media are covering this, but at the time of the recording, the BBC, among many others, have not covered it. Now, let's take a look at the article and I will give my thoughts on it. Now, the title reads, Brexit Brawl. Esther Mcvey's leadership launch in chaos as Brexiteer storms the stage. No mention of the actual court case there, I notice. Tory leadership contender Esther Mcvey was interrupted mid-speech this afternoon by a furious Brexiteer who barrelled towards the podium, snatched the microphone and bellowed, "You are fake news. You're all fake Conservatives," before claiming that the UK had already left the EU and that the case in the High Court would prove it. Let me just stop there. He didn't snatch the microphone. There was no one at the microphone. Like, what are you talking about?
Make sure we stand up for democracy too. The biggest ever democratic vote to get us out of the EU so that we can be a strong sovereign nation who can proudly be on that global stage. Thank you.
Excuse me, you are all fake news and these people are fake Conservatives. No! I'm a paid-up member of the Conservative Party, right? I am a paid-up. Robin's touched me or let me lick. Let me tell you now, there is a case in the High Court. There is a case in the High Court.
Made your point, thank you very much. You want to go?
Don't touch me!
Here you go, thank you.
Don't touch me!
Xenophobia! Can I call you xenophobia?
Leave him, okay?
Just out!
You've got to
You're insane, totally insane.
Rude.
We are going to eject you. If you don't
You are not. I've done nothing.
Don't
We
point
are
out
going
the
to-
people.
You touch me again. I'll have you arrested.
No. Somebody touched you already. No, what?
Get out of my way.
Out.
Thank you.
Out.
Goodbye.
Tommy! You can laugh. You're all supporting us.
What a disgrace.
Give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. I'll stand up for the day to make sure that this did get on national TV was him. Please give him a round of applause.
The protester, who said his name was Graham Moore, was swiftly surrounded by security but refused to back down, screaming at the top of his lungs that he was a fully paid member of the Conservative Party and there was a case in the High Court, before repeatedly demanding that no one touch him. He subsequently told ITV he was desperate to get out of the EU. The case in question is designed to prove that the UK had already left the EU, delivering a message directly to former Brexit Secretary Dominic Raab and former Work and Pensions Secretary Esther Mcvey. On his Facebook page, Mr Moore said, "We can sort this out. All you've got to do is talk about the case and converse with Robin Tilbrook, who is the solicitor I said earlier is bringing the case. Put politics aside and deal with the rule of law. The Constitution is the solution, 100% here. You've got a double-edged sword at your disposal. You said in your tools is your armoury. It's in your quiver. Now let me tell you something. Every constitutional arrow that you use in defence of this country will be supported by the Brexiteers. If you don't mention the case, we look at you and say, you're not on the team. Be the team. Lead the team. The case, advocated by Brexiteer Robin Tolbrook, focuses on Theresa May not having the legal power to delay Brexit past the original deadline of March 29th. Mr Tilbrook argued although the beleaguered Prime Minister had the power to begin Britain's 2-year withdrawal process from the European Union, she in fact did not have the power to amend it. The Brexiteer claims this means the extension granted by Brussels last month until the 31st of October is null and invalid, and Britain actually left the EU on March 29th. God, that will cause a shitstorm if that gets through, if they actually let that through the courts. I have my reservations about whether they will because, well, it's the courts. I mean, they use the evidence of witnesses, which, let's be honest, witnesses are not exactly good. Science doesn't use witnesses. If you say to a scientist, I saw something, therefore it's true, they'll tell you to bugger off. Speaking to the express.co.uk, Mr. Tilbrook said, we have a very strong legal argument. I'm 80 to 90% confident we will be successful. Government lawyers have tried to rubbish our case, but I've not had any legal professional tell me we haven't got an excellent chance of succeeding. Well, yeah, the government's lawyers are probably not professional, so I suppose he's right in that statement. Theresa May and her government had no right to agree an extension to Brexit. I agree with that. I don't think they'd have the right to agree to extension. Theresa May set the date and by initiating Article 50. We should have left the EU as proposed on March 29th, and if we win this case, we will finally be out of the bloc. If you win the case, I'm sure they'll find a way around it. Still last until the 31st of October, or further, which is what I think they're trying to push for now. Commenting on the specifics of the case, Mr. Tilbrook added the notice was served and expired, so it means you are out. The government served their notice under the Act of Parliament, and if you look at the Act in question, it's extremely short at 137 words. Sounds like something Theresa May would do. That only states the Prime Minister only had the power to serve notice to withdraw the UK from the EU and nothing else. But government lawyers have since hit back claiming Mr. Tilbrook's case is totally without merit. Well, of course they bloody will. That probably means it's with merit. They argue the 2017 Act of Parliament in question that allows Mrs May to trigger Article 50 did not set a date for Britain to leave the EU. And there you go. That's how they'll try and get out of it. They'll try and use that. I'm telling you now. They'll use that. They'll milk that all they can. Just because it doesn't say when they'll leave, they'll try and use it that it could mean any time, and you can just imagine the lawyers arguing about it. This, they add, did not restrict the government's power to change the date. The lawyers said if the claimant is right, the UK would have withdrawn from the EU by accident. This would be directly contrary to the evident intention and belief of Parliament and the other member states of the EU. That would be a startling legal position indeed. Parliament has acted on the basis of those lawful extensions and given effect to the extensions of the withdrawal date. Mr. Tilbrook's upcoming legal challenge is similar to Gina Miller's high-profile battle against the government in 2016, when she challenged its authority to implement Brexit without approval from Parliament. Both the High Court and Supreme Court found in her favour, forcing MPs to vote on the former start of the Brexit process. I mean, last week she said she would sack every Remainer in the cabinet prior to October 31st leaving date if she became Prime Minister. Well, that should have been a given for any government that's instruction is to leave. There shouldn't have been a single Remainer on there. But right, that's all of the article. I probably read more of it than I should have done. But if there is a High Court case, which there clearly is, and the media is not talking about it, well, some of the media is not talking about it, it must have some merit. Now, I'm no lawyer, so I can't comment legally on it, obviously. I've spent more time needing lawyers than trying to be one, so I'm not going to try and be one now. I'm a guy who calls out snivelling fuckpigs on the internet. What I will say is that I wouldn't put anything past Theresa the EU appeaser. She has already shown her true treacherous nature by selling us out in her piss-poor surrender document. Sorry, I mean the deal that she made for us. It's a surrender document, it's not a fucking deal. I don't care what anyone says. I would suggest you go and check out Daddy Dragon's YouTube page for more in-depth knowledge on this case. He has much more information on the subject, and his videos are a must to really get a grasp on the case, so I will link his channel down below for you. I was actually hoping the BBC and other big TV networks would put Daddy Dragon going onto their stage, but they didn't. ITV showed a little bit of it, but They stopped it as soon as he said fake news. They didn't let him say anything about the case on TV or nothing like that. I would say that's suspicious, but we all know the mainstream media are shitweasels, only show what they deem to be okay to their narrative, not what's actually news. So what else is new? Now I'm going to leave it here for this video. As always, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. Like and share the video as it always helps. And remember to check out Daddy Dragon's YouTube so you can get a full grasp on the situation, because obviously I can't give you a full grasp on it. I don't really have the time to sit there and research it properly like I would want to. But you can check him out. His videos will be able to tell you everything you need to know.